Hello, Detective Banks. I want to play a game.
You should probably run. Hell no. Do you believe in ghosts?
Hello everyone, Joshua Myers and welcome back to my 31 Days of Halloween Review series. Today we're going to be looking at the newest horror comedy, Abigail, from 2024.
I'm sorry about what's gonna happen to you. Run. I'm Abigail.
Abigail, only in theaters April 19th. Rated R.
Abigail stars Melissa Barrera, Dan Stevens, Alicia Weir, Catherine Newton, Kevin Durand, Angus Cloud, and is directed by Matthew Opelin and Tyra Gillette. The plot of Abigail is that a heist team discovers that they are locked inside an isolated mansion with a girl who is anything but ordinary. Now, before going on with the rest of this review, I would like to say is this, again, isn't a first-time watch for me. I watched this the first time once it premiered on Peacock, because I was really excited for this movie. I love me a good vampire movie, which that's what this is. And, you know, so I'm a sucker for that. I'm also a sucker for a good werewolf movie. I watched it on Peacock when it was, when it first premiered on there, because I was excited. I wanted to go see it in the theater. Couldn't, unfortunately. So I went to see it on Peacock as soon as it premiered. And just recently, very recently, I think maybe a day or two ago, me and my brother watched it, and it was his first time watching it. So I was excited to show him the movie. And I definitely do got some thoughts on this, so let's get right into it. This is the third movie from the Radio Silence team that I've covered this month alone. First one was Ready or Not, second one was VHS, and now it's Abigail. And so far, I've been really digging a lot of Radio Silence movies. I've also seen stuff like Scream 5 and Scream 6, and all that stuff, which I will get to eventually. At some point, I'll do a Scream franchise review series at some point. One of the positives I have with the film is, honestly, I gotta give props to the actors. All the actors here do an amazing job in their roles. Even Alicia Weir, who plays Abigail, the main, I guess you could say, star of the film, she is a really good, little actress, actually. One of the better child actresses I've seen, actually. And I've seen some good ones. I've seen some good ones, actually, of, child actors. And she is really good. I think, honestly, she definitely has a future, for sure. And she brought a lot of her A-game to this film. I was actually, when I first watched this, I was genuinely surprised with how good she was. Also, too, all the other actors, Melissa Barrera, who you may remember from Scream 5 and Scream 6, she does a very good job in here as Joey, who is kind of the main, I guess you could say, protagonist of the film. Also, you got a lot of comedic actors in here. You got Catherine Newton, who plays Sammy, and if you aren't familiar with her, she's been in a ton of different films at this point. I remember first seeing her in Paranormal Activity 4, which was my first horror film theater experience, and she went on to do the film Freaky, which I have yet to see, with Vince Vaughn. And then she's recently, you guys would probably most know her from as Cassie from Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. He's really good in this, so even Kevin Durand is pretty good. He's pretty funny in this. Dan Stevens, who plays Frank, he's really good in this as well. He's also pretty funny. All the actors in this movie is really good. A lot of them have a lot of funny moments. I can't praise the acting enough in this film. It's really solid acting. Also, too, the directing. The director, of course, is Matthew Opelin and Tyra Gillette, aka Radio Silence, who did, like I said, they did a segment in the first VHS film. They also did the film Ready or Not in 2019, I believe. Then they did Scream 5 and Scream 6, and most recently now they've done Abigail. So Abigail is their newest film in their filmography. And yeah, they still do a solid job. In fact, actually, I actually did really like their segment in VHS. It was a fun segment. They did the last segment in VHS, with the haunted house setup and all that stuff. It was pretty fun. So, and again, I've seen a lot of their other movies at this point, which I will cover. I will cover their other films. I will cover Scream 5, Scream 6, some point. But yeah, overall, solid direction from Matthew Oakland and Tyler Gillette. Also to the cinematography. The cinematography, speaking on which, is actually really good. It does create a eerie kind of gothic atmosphere, and I think it does that pretty well. While also throwing a bit of fun in there, because, this is supposed to be a horror comedy, so yeah, they do throw in some fun in the cinematography as well. Also, too, gotta give props to set designers. I mean, like, that house that, in this is a really amazing setting for this type of film. A lot of, interesting, it's very interesting visually with this house, and they do a lot, because it's anything could pop up behind certain corners and stuff like that, so it does give it your sense of suspense with the movie. Also, too, another positive I have is, a lot of the references. There's tons of references and homages to other vampire movies and stuff like that, and just vampire lore in general. First thing you would see in the movie is during the opening credits, it's actually playing the opening theme from the original Dracula, 1931, from Universal with Bela Lugosi. I do plan on covering that at some point. And yeah, I just thought that was awesome. If you're not familiar with older movies like that, you may not pick up on that, but I sure did, because I seen the original Dracula, so it was very cool to hear that bit of music play in the opening of this film as well. Nice little kind of references and homages here and there like that, some of which could be very subtle, so there may be some references to homages that even I missed, so I don't know. The makeup effects. The makeup effects is really good in this film. From the gore effects to the look of the vampires and everything like that. And yeah, it's just overall solid practical and VFX. Also too, this another positive I'll give is the, just the pacing of the film. The pacing of the film is actually pretty solid. It's, it's just kind of what I expected of this type of movie. It's, the film doesn't overstay its welcome. The film clocks in at 1 hour and 49 minutes, and does feel like a, under 2 hour movie. And honestly, that's it with my positives. Now we're going to go into things I'm rather mixed on. Some of the twists. And I'm not talking about the twists that's not really a twist because of marketing. Again, I'll talk about that in my negatives, but I'm talking about some of the twists they would throw in throughout the film, and a lot of it is just here's the thing, I think some of them could have been amazing twists if they had, maybe executed them a bit better. Also too, here's the thing, I think the way they, dump exposition is a little bit clever, but at the same time too, it's still exposition, so they could have easily, essentially where characters are hey, as a character or characters kind of talk about the backstory of each of these characters or whatnot. They did twice in this movie, and again, while it's, because one of the more clever ways of giving exposition dumps about your characters, I still think it wasn't necessarily needed. There could have been more subtle ways of doing it. Outside of those two things, that's all I really have in regards of things I'm rather mixed on. So let's move on to my negatives, and I only have one real negative with this film. And that is the marketing, mostly. I think the marketing really did ruin this movie in a sense. Now, again, I think it's overall so far well, again, you'll hear about my final thoughts on the movie, but just imagine, because here's the thing, I think what Matt and Tyler were trying to do with this film is that I think, honestly, if they had full control over the marketing, they would not spoil the twist of Abigail being a vampire. They just wouldn't. They just wouldn't do that, because I feel like that was meant to be a what the F kind of twist in the movie, you know? The movie is kind of starts off as one movie and then turns into a different kind of film, which Radio Silence also has been known to do that in their other films, so. But in here, the twist is kind of spoiled. I mean, the trailer for Ready or Not also kind of spoiled the twist as well, so. But, and that's just the big problem I've been having with marketing, and this is a problem that's been going on since, as far as I could see, since, even back during the 60s or whatever, you know? Whenever they started doing trailers and stuff like that, take a look at the original Halloween trailer, for instance. It shows so much stuff of the movie that I'm surprised people still felt surprised when they saw the original film. If they had saw the advertising and the marketing. So, yeah, it's been a rather big problem for a long time. It's not a recent thing. It's not this recent problem that's been plaguing the film marketing department. It really hasn't. So, maybe one of these days I might do my own kind of trailer, kind of trying to see how I could tackle without spoiling the main twist, you know, and still keeping sort of an idea of what the film is. I might do that just to be like, hey, this is what the trailer could have been like, you know. But I think if it wasn't for the marketing, I think that would have been an amazing what the F kind of twist. And yeah, unfortunately, it was ruined by the marketing. So, thanks, marketing team. And honestly, for me, that's it with my negatives, so let's move on to my rating. So that's it. I'm going to give Abigail a 4 out of 5 stars. Honestly, for me, this is a really solid film. It's a extremely gory film. And again, I'm not much of, I'm not someone who hates gore or anything like that. There's a lot of movies I love that are pretty gory. Like, John Carpenter's The Thing, Hatchet, Hellraiser, Reanimator, stuff like that. Films like that, I just love. But if it's something like Halloween I don't feel like really needs the gore and stuff like that, because the original didn't need it, so I don't think any of the sequels or the reboots or requels needed it. But yeah, the gore is a lot of fun in this film. And also too, just overall the film is just a fun movie to sit down and watch. Overall, I would highly recommend Abigail if you guys haven't seen it, and I didn't mention any spoilers, and I don't plan on mentioning any spoilers because I want you guys to be surprised for yourself for the film, and, you know, for what surprises they didn't spoil in the trailer. So yeah, just go check it out. It's on Peacock. Go watch it. If you don't have Peacock, it's available now on DVD and Blu-ray. And I think the DVD is now like 12 something, $13 now. So yeah, at this point there's no excuse to not watch it, unless if you just don't like horror movies, or you're just not a fan of really gory movies or whatever. Unless if it's one of those things, you know, one of those reasons, then fine, whatever. But I really highly recommend you guys check this out. This was, again, an awesome film. Probably so far my favorite film from the Radio Silence team so far is Abigail. And again, I can't wait to see what they do next. So, that's it for this review. And if you like this channel, be sure to hit the like button. And if you're new to the channel, be sure to hit the subscribe button. And thank you guys for watching. And Shia Kazik! Well, this stinks.